everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Pixel Junkies podcast. Episode number 160.
159.
Oh, 159. We're not doing the one big 160 yet.
161.
We're not doing the
Episode 1600.
Well, we've immediately lost all viewers.
That's the best version of the Avengers theme.
Even Thomas checked out.
Yeah,
like,
probably.
Fuck this.
Come back, Thomas. What
How's
happened
it all
week?
going? How's everyone doing?
Good.
I'm alright.
Doing good. So
no Rory this week.
Yeah, no, he died.
There's going to be no structure to this at all.
Yeah,
Turned
so
to dust.
I guess we should start off by saying that we went to see Avengers, and Iron Man dies. He dies at the end of the movie. Near the end of the movie, he dies. Iron Man dies. Tony Stark is dead. Robert Downey Jr. is not going to be any more of the movies. He's dead. He's died.
You can't spoil it. Tom's already saw it.
We're going to spoil the movie.
Yeah, so
we'll
went
talk
to see
about
Avengers
it loosely first. Keep spoiler free.
Yeah, so we went to see Avengers. I was going to say Age of Ultron. That's what we should probably say what we're playing. We're playing Lego Avengers 2.
It's just Lego Avengers. It has all the movies in it. Except the newest one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can you kill Thanos?
Probably.
Like they do in the movie?
You can probably play as Thanos and then kill him if you want.
Remember when halfway through the movie they're like, we can't beat Thanos, and then Superman comes in and just beats him for him, and it's just like it completely ruins the fight because he's like, I'm Superman. Just like he did with Steppenwolf at the end of the Justice League movie to make all of their struggles seem just
Tony Stark.
vain and pointless.
Tony Stark says to Thanos, we have a Superman.
And then Superman just comes in and just beats the shit out. Admittedly, I would watch. That didn't happen, obviously, but I would watch the shit out of that movie.
Don't spoil it.
That would be an awesome movie, just to be like, it's like, who are we ever going to get to help the Defenders defeat Thanos? It's like, oh wait, Superman. Superman's a thing. He just comes in and just like
could Thanos with all stones beat Superman?
Yes, easily. Like without even trying. He wouldn't even have to think about it.
Is Flash Gordon DC?
No, he's not nothing.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what he was. There was a reference to Flash Gordon in the movie, and I was like, I don't know what that is.
No, he's I can't remember who owns the rights to him. So we went to see so the reason we're playing Lego Avengers.
Oh, that's why I got it.
Is because we went to see Lego Avengers Infinity War, which is the new. I like how those things disappeared. See, before I had a chance to pick them up,
just like the characters in the movie. But no spoilers. Yeah.
And we went to go see Infinity War, the new Avengers movie. So I guess we'll start by the first couple minutes. We'll just talk about our general thoughts and feelings of the film without spoiling, and then we'll clearly mark when the spoilers are going to be. And then
it's great for audio listeners.
I guess there'll be a. I guess
we'll
put
say
up a
when there
stamp.
will be spoilers.
Yeah, we'll put up a timestamp, but then
we'll clap our hands when the spoilers are over.
Or Aaron could put up a timestamp.
Whatever. Anyway,
that doesn't work for audio people though.
I like that.
There's literally no way to do it for audio listeners.
Adam reiterated his point on audio listeners by saying we'll bring up a timestamp. An audio timestamp. Skip to this time.
Well, then don't listen to the podcast via audio. YouTube exists, asshole.
Yeah, what if they got the tab switched or closed? Or minimized?
Well, then go over to the other tab. Anyway.
What if you're at work and you can't have a YouTube video playing? Yet you do.
Oh, yeah.
And you're listening to the podcast. And you're like, oh god, I hope I don't get fired, but I really have to listen to this Pixel Junkies podcast on YouTube.
You might be beginning to notice that over the course of the next couple dozen episodes or so, I'm going to rapidly start losing my hair. And that's because this podcast has become literal cancer to me. And I'm in chemotherapy to try and put it in the remission.
That's very offensive to people with actual cancer.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, well
real cancer.
You don't come at me.
So what did you guys think of Avengers? For fuck's sake.
I thought it was fucking terrible. Oh. No, not really. Classic Andrew. Hey, I thought it was pretty okay. Pretty good, actually. I had issues with it, but overall, overall it's
Can we
good.
restart?
No.
Okay.
When do you not have issues
I'm
with
not
movies?
staying any later here than I have to. Fuck that. What?
I mean, you didn't have to come over at all. But anyway.
I'm just joking. I love
You have issues with a lot of movies, though. So that's not really, you know, a movie. I don't know. Whatever. Andrew's very critical is what I'm getting at.
I'm critical.
Yeah.
You just turn a blind eye to things that you like. I realized how dumb that sounded when I said it. Anything Marvel, you like, you've got rose-colored glasses on when you review
Rose-colored.
it. You do.
There are still issues with it, but they're not deal breaking to me.
Marvel, except if it's on Netflix, in which case, it's dog shit
Well, there you
immediately.
go. I don't have the same issues with the MCU because the Netflix universe does things weirdly sometimes. But anyway, that's besides the point because not Netflix. Infinity War finally came out after 17 movies that me and Andrew counted last night. We finally got Infinity War, and yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
I also thought it was pretty good. Just a few, kind of go over the major points of the movie. Obviously, the acting in this movie is good across the board because they've invested in good actors at this point for all their characters, so everyone turns in a good performance. The action in the movie is serviceable. There's a couple of really good action scenes and a couple of kind of meh action scenes, but there's no particularly...
What are the meh action scenes?
Well, I don't want to spoil anything, so we'll get into that during the spoilers.
Let's just spoil it.
No, because I want
I don't want to dance around for half an hour
then
and then be like,
go
"Oh,
be on
let's
another
go
podcast."
back through everything we just said with spoilers this time."
I thought that there was some very interesting kind of...
Thanos snaps his fingers and kills half the cast.
What am I supposed to do here?
All right.
Oh, I thought Adam was hitting you or something. It sounded like you were in pain.
Oh, I am constantly.
So, yeah.
I can't see anything.
Sorry for that. Hang on.
What are you talking about?
Spoilers.
What are you talking about?
Aaron
That
can
didn't
put in
happen.
his voice like, "Andrew fucked up, skipped to this time code," at the beginning or
shit.
like whatever.
Well,
Just continue. Just talking about the fucking movie.
So-
who cares?
okay.
Spoilers. Turbo spoilers
Yeah,
for
so,
Infinity
turbo
War.
spoilers, because apparently we're doing this now.
We are.
A couple. I thought that the fight scenes on Nowhere were pretty. Well, the kind of half fight scene we got on Nowhere was half decent. The fight in New York was really good, and the fight on Titan was really, really well done. The fight in Wakanda was not bad, but not the best superhero fight ever. It was very jumbled because they had to fit so many characters in at once. It
Yeah.
was hard to focus, and there wasn't anything particularly wrong with that, but it was more just it was so cluttered that it was hard for the action scene to retain focus. And that's part of the problem with the movie as a whole, is that part of the movie felt so... Because there's so much going on in this film, there's so many characters and so many plot points that the pacing is really affected in this movie, much more than in the other ones. Like, take Age of Ultron, for example. Yes, there was a lot of characters in that movie, and yes, there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
But there were still down moments for the characters. You still had scenes where with Tony and Steve just hanging out on...
Oh, man.
All right, well, goodbye, Steve, out of this movie.
Remember how he died? He just fell off a
And,
cliff.
there's still...
There were down scenes in this one as well,
not
but
really.
there were a
Yeah, there
few.
were.
But I think the problem with this one was it didn't balance the down scenes and the up scenes well.
Yeah.
You had down scene, down scene, down scene, down scene, followed by 16 up scenes.
Yeah. It had similar pacing problems, although not nearly as bad
Yeah.
as the last Hobbit movie, where it was just the end of the movie, just one long fight scene. And I'm all for that, don't get me wrong, but it didn't feel like it earned it. I mean, it has earned it because...
Absolutely, it has. Hobbit didn't earn
17
it because it was just a gratuitous 2.5-hour fight scene. This has been 10 years in the making. I want a 2-hour action scene.
Yeah, and I guess that, but I mean, if you were just going to see this movie on your own, in which case...
I don't think you
watch
can
the
at this
other. At
point.
least watch the other Avengers movies.
I don't.
and
Yeah,
Guardians of
like
the Galaxy.
I don't think you can watch this movie by itself. And if you at least want to know what the hell's going on,
Yeah.
you just can't. You can't do it. You need to have watched a few of the other movies. It's like watching the series finale of a TV show and going, I don't know what's going on. It's like, well, that's your fault at that point.
Yeah, and I'm not blaming the movie for that. But I do think that there are, there are some, the pretty major pacing issues. I also, there's just
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie by any means. It's not the worst that Marvel has ever put out, but it's not the best either. I would put it somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I think it's definitely better for me than Age of Ultron was.
See, I prefer as I'm sitting right now, I prefer Age of Ultron to this movie, just because right now it felt better. It felt like there was the pacing was better, and it wasn't trying to do so much.
Yeah. I haven't seen Age of Ultron since it came out, so
it's worth a rewatch. Honestly,
I've been planning for a while to sit down and just watch it all, but then it's like, oh god, that's almost 20 movies I have to watch. So I don't know.
There's one of the things that you kind of notice with this movie is that they do as good a job, I think, as they possibly can with this movie to attempt to make it a good movie that juggles all of these characters and plot points and still manages to get a good movie out of, like, a decent movie out of it. Like, I think not any other creative team, but most other creative teams would not have been able to handle this many cast members and this many characters and this big of a story and do it half as well.
Who directed this?
It was the Russo brothers. I
Yeah,
think they wrote and directed it.
It felt like there were different people directing different parts of the movie.
I didn't notice that.
Especially when it came... And it felt like different people writing different parts of the script, too.
Well, to be fair, I mean, like, you have like...
Yeah, I think they had contributors from all of the properties. Like, people who worked on Thor worked on some of the Thor bits. People who worked on
And that makes
Iron
sense
Man.
to me, because, like...
Yeah.
When the people who are writing the Iron Man movies or the stuff featuring Vision and Scarlet Witch, they're probably not going to get the characters and pacing right, and just the dialogue correct for the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. So that made sense, and I thought they did a good job of, like, having the Guardians of the Galaxy's own unique kind of comedic style and kind of having that contrast with some of the other big characters in the universe. Like, it was great to see Peter Quill and Tony Stark and Stephen Strange kind of butting heads, like three kind of like those kind of characters kind of coming together and just kind of like not like getting along because they have to, but still kind of being like annoying each other, and that was great. My major issue with this film is the ending, in that and this is very spoilery, like Andrew said at the beginning. Jesus Christ, Thor. This film borrows heavily from a comic book series that came out in the 90s called the Infinity Gauntlet. There was two kind of comics about the Infinity Gauntlet that came out. One was called the Infinity Gauntlet, and the other one was called Infinity Wars. And though this movie is called Infinity Wars, it borrows more heavily from the Infinity Gauntlet story. And in that story, Thanos, in the first issue or so, gets the Infinity Gauntlet, gets all 6 stones, snaps his fingers, and kills half of all life in the universe. Just kills them all, like literally half. And spoiler alert. Again, seriously, spoilers. Don't watch the next 10 minutes of the podcast if you really want to see this spoiler free. And I recommend you do, because this is a good movie. And you kind of want to. This is something that you need to see kind of fresh. But if you really don't mind spoilers, at the end of the movie, Thanos gets the Infinity Gauntlet, gets all 6 Infinity Stones or gems or whatever they're called in this one, and he kills half the universe. All of the Guardians of the Galaxies die, except Rocket. Black Panther dies. Scarlet Witch dies. Falcon dies. Maria Hill and...
Scarlet Witch dies after having to kill her lover, and then watching him get revived, and then brutally murdered again.
Yeah.
And then she dies. Spider-Man dies.
Spider-Man dies.
His was the worst death.
Stephen Strange dies. You mean in terms of like the impact or just how it was done?
How it was done.
Yeah. Yeah, they tried to make it something into what it wasn't.
It hadn't earned
Yeah.
what it tried to do.
Yeah. Who else?
Although he does a good job acting.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Tom Holland.
Yeah, he's a good actor. I like him.
Yeah.
I think it's stripped away a little bit at that point because you know it's not permanent.
Yeah, and that's getting into, Aaron, you said that coming out of the theater last night. I was like, well, it's hard to believe these guys are all dead because they're slated for movies that are coming out. So unless Marvel has done the most masterful misdirection campaign I've ever seen,
and conned themselves out of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch was like, well, you don't know if Doctor Strange lives in this one. Come see Doctor Strange 2 at theaters next year.
So that being said, it feels like my issue with this end. I mean, the way it's presented in film was very kind of. There was Gamora's also dead, but she dies because
her death was actually really good.
Yeah, her death was well done. Most of the deaths at the end were well done, except so many of them just die. It's not like they died in the middle of combat or whatever, like they were having some glorious last stand. Thanos fucks out of Earth, like teleports out of Earth, and
Thanos wins. He straight up wins the movie.
But he backs off, and then they're all like, "Huh, what do we do now?" And then half the cast is dead. That's seriously how that scene plays out.
I thought the ending was great, apart from a couple scenes like Spider-Man's death.
Yeah,
I thought the fact that this movie ended the way it did was fantastic.
I would have preferred to see. I don't mind these heroes dying. I mean, I don't mind these heroes dying, but I don't like the way in which they die, because I feel like a lot of these characters deserved a better death than what they got if it was going to be permanent.
It's not going to be permanent.
And it's not, and that's the problem, is they're trying to... They're faking everybody out, being like, oh, are these characters dead? No, they're not. They're coming back. Not only is this a comic book movie, and the only people who ever permanently die in comic books are, Ben Parker and the Waynes. They're the only people who've ever remained dead. And even then, it's arguable because they've been in alternate universes and Elseworld stories and stuff. But, it feels like they were trying to go over this super shock ending by killing off half the cast, and then you're like, oh, shit, like, well, hang on, this loses all impact because they're coming back. And I feel like they could have done a different ending that still would have had the same impact if they, instead of having just all the characters die just because Thanos wins and snaps his fingers, which was a really great scene because we've never seen the Avengers really lose before. Yeah, there was Civil War, in which case they broke up, but that's not the same as this. Half the people on Earth are dead now because the Avengers lost. That's not an insignificant thing, but how cool would it have been, instead of having the cast die, if near the end of the movie, Thanos just takes Bruce Banner, snaps his neck, then rips War Machine in half, and then disintegrates I don't know, like Black Panther. He's dead. And then, like, during the fight on Titan, he crushes Spider-Man and he destroys Star-Lord.
Because I think the deaths that you see in the movie where people aren't dusted aren't permanent. All the other ones were. So, like, Gamora might not come back.
Yeah.
Gamora's gonna be back. Loki's probably gonna be back.
I don't know.
Well, oh yeah, Loki also dies.
Loki's the first to die.
Yeah. No. Heimdall is.
Yeah, you're right.
Not much sooner.
Yeah. No, it's really one after the other. Although I will say, very effective job of portraying the seriousness and the kind of the power of Thanos. Because at the beginning of the movie, the end of Thor Ragnarok is Thanos' ship stumbling across the Asgardian refugee ship. The movie picks up right after that, so actually a really good. I would recommend watching Black Panther and then Thor Ragnarok. It would be my order of watching that.
I never saw Black Panther.
It's good. You should watch it. You.
I'm a racist. That's why I haven't seen it.
Yeah, and the movie cuts in, and all of the Asgardians are either dead or have been severely beaten up. Thor is being beat to a bloody pulp on the bridge. Heimdall is beaten up. And then, like, Loki's talking with Thanos, and Thanos is like, blah, blah, Infinity Stones, blah. And Loki's like, well, there's one thing you haven't quite remembered. He's like, what's that? We have a Hulk, which was a really funny throwback line. And then the Hulk comes out of nowhere and starts beating the shit out of Thanos, except, oops, no, he doesn't. Thanos beats the shit out of the Hulk, which is the first time we've ever seen that in one of these movies before, where the Hulk has just not... It wasn't like a straight-up fight like he had in some of the Avengers movies where he was, like, legitimately, like, he might lose, but he's on kind of even footing. This was a beatdown.
Yeah. Or in Thor Ragnarok against Thor himself.
Yeah. Like, that was an even fight. This was a beatdown. A pretty severe one. And it shows just how powerful Thanos is. And he only had 2 of the stones at that point, and over the course of the movie, he gets all 6.
Thanos is a great villain. I think he might be the best villain in these movies.
I don't know about that. He's certainly up. I mean, like, not a lot of competition there, but I really like the Colonel Christ,
Sanders.
I can never remember his name from the Civil War, the Sokovia guy who is able to break up the Avengers. I thought he was a really effective villain.
Oh, Baron
Strucker? No, not Strucker.
No,
he
that's
was
a different guy.
Oh, the
Zemo.
Yeah, Zemo's good. Yeah. But in terms of like a supervillain,
yes,
Thanos is.
Oh yeah, by far.
Yeah.
Like, and again, like Thanos, we're talking like Thanos is one of Marvel's biggest bads. Like, there's like in terms of
who's
like,
bigger, Galactus? Is Galactus bigger?
So, well, in terms of power,
in terms of in the comic books, which was the bigger event?
So, Thanos without the Power Glove is weaker than Galactus, but Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet is far beyond Galactus, to the point where Galactus fought Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet and lost handedly. So Thanos is the biggest threat that the Marvel Universe has ever faced up until like last year, because with the Infinity Gauntlet, he literally did kill half the universe. Now, luckily, that was all reversed by the end of the events, because
so you know how it ends already.
Not really, because this only very loosely follows the plot of this, because the way the comic is actually really fucking stupid, how
does it get reversed in the comic?
Like, this guy called the Living Tribunal, which is like the ultimate judge of all life in the in the universe, says this was really dumb and half the life shouldn't have been killed this way, and he snaps his fingers and brings everyone back.
Do you think that's gonna be Stan Lee?
Could be. That actually might be interesting. I don't know, but here's how it goes. Here's how it goes in the comics.
No, what are you doing, you idiot? Puts it back.
Well, I said to Aaron at the
quick save
at the end of the movie, I really wanted the final scene of the movie to just be Stan Lee coming out of nowhere, grabbing the gauntlet off of Thanos' and I was like, "Give me that!"
Speaking of taking the gauntlet off. That whole scene on
hang
Titan,
on.
I got a bone to pick with that, but we'll get to it.
So in the source comic, what happens is Thanos gets the Infinity Gauntlet, and then this guy called Adam Warlock, who is the
Red Skull.
Nope.
Oh,
that's nope. He's the. Do you remember at the end? Did you see Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Yes.
So you know the thing at the end of that movie where they tease some dude in a golden sarcophagus, and he's supposed to be the ultimate life form.
Oh yeah,
that's Adam Warlock, and he was he's one of Marvel's like.
I read online that Adam Warlock was the Red Skull.
Maybe
that's probably wrong.
Yes, because I think Schmidt is his name.
Oh. Red Skull was a surprise though.
Yes.
He also makes a random appearance.
So Adam Warlock ends up Thanos gets the Infinity Gauntlet, kills half the life, and all the heroes on Earth are like, oh shit, what the fuck are we gonna do? Adam Warlock, who's like known to the heroes, was like, we need to team up to defeat Thanos, and they're like, okay. And so all the remaining Marvel heroes, like Thor and Captain America and Spider-Man and the X-Men and all of them, and the Avengers, they all team up, and they go to take on Thanos, and they start getting their ass kicked, because the reason Thanos is doing all this is because he wants to impress the personification of death, he is in love with, because comics, just deal with it. So they end up fighting Thanos, and they're losing, and Adam Warlock turns to the Silver Surfer and says, "Listen," and he's like, "Listen, they're gonna lose, but during this fight, wait for my signal, and then you're gonna warp in at light speed, and when he's distracted, you're gonna snatch the gauntlet off of Thanos' hand. And Silver Surfer's like, that's a good plan. So the heroes all get their ass kicked, and they put up a good fight, but it's no use. And then Adam Warlock's like, now, and the Silver Surfer warps in and misses, and Thanos is like, oh, tricky, and then he just kills them all. And so all of the galactic beings like Galactus and the Celestials and Odin and like the cosmic personifications of order and chaos, they all come in to fight
Leonardo
Thanos.
da Vinci.
No, not yet.
Oh.
He didn't appear till later. They end up fighting Thanos, and they lose, and then Nebula snatches the gauntlet off of Thanos' hands because when he's not paying attention, and then she becomes the wearer of the Infinity Gauntlet, and she immediately kills Thanos, and then...
Well, that's how the next movie's gonna end.
Christ, I hope not.
No, nothing else up until she gets the gauntlet and kills Thanos.
Maybe.
I guarantee you that's gonna be how it ends.
I feel like Hulk is gonna kill Thanos.
And then,
But I only say that because there was kind of like an arc going on there, and they didn't finish it in this movie.
Bruce sucked in this movie.
Yeah, he's like he
he
fought Thanos, and then Hulk just said no for the
basically
rest
shit
of the
on
movie.
Hulk fans. This was like, if you're a Hulk fan, you're in for a rough time in this movie.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the Hulk fought Thanos, and then the rest of the movie, Hulk was like saying no, he wouldn't. Like Bruce wasn't able to transform back into the Hulk.
Yeah, sorry.
So I feel like
there's a reason for that. Is because the Hulk has never lost before, and he's never been that severely.
yeah. So I feel like
defensive.
bringing that arc full circle, he'll kill Thanos.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean maybe.
or at least beat him to a pulp. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he'll beat him to a pulp, and then what's her name will take the gauntlet and
maybe
deliver the final blow, and then reverse time.
And so anyway, Nebula takes control of the gauntlet and is like, "Oh shit, I don't actually know how to use this." And then all the cosmic beings that were got the shit kicked out of them by Thanos were like, "Okay, she doesn't know what she's doing. Also, let's all team up and hit her at the same time. Go!" And then they beat the shit out of her, and then they take the gauntlet, and they're like,
oh man, is it
all that
Grimace?
is in the past. We've reversed all of that, and they're like, well, I'm glad we all did this, and all the Marvel heroes go home. And it's so stupid because all the Marvel heroes, Spider-Man and Thor and Captain America and Iron Man and the Hulk and the X-Men, they're all there just to die, just to show how good Thanos is, and then they're out of the rest of the comic, and it's just like, what? This is so poorly written.
Does this set up like a new universe sort of thing? I don't know how often Marvel does that, but it's like reboot.
No, Marvel's only ever rebooted the universe once,
Oh.
and then immediately, and that was only like a temporary thing.
Oh,
Well, they kind of did it. They've rebooted more
But
than
there
once,
are
but it's
all-
always been temporary.
yeah, okay.
Because it's like they
There are alternate dimensions, though.
yes. Well, yeah, there are, but I mean, like, there's like the main Marvel universe 616 has always been 616. Right at there's been soft reboots and a bunch like new number one.
So, but how do they do the Thanos storyline if everybody dies?
Because they reverse it at the end of that series.
Oh,
Just like they're gonna do in the movie.
Yeah, so that's the source material. So that's what they were working with. So I'm credit to the directors to be able to kind of adapt that as well as they were able to.
I'm glad they made Thanos
win.
win, but I'm glad they didn't make him in love with death.
Yeah, that's
And
only
they made him like it's more of an ideological
yeah.
motive.
I mean, that's an interesting concept, and it works better in the comics because Death is a character in the comics. But this is if they portrayed it like this, you wouldn't be able to portray Death as an entity. Although I thought that's what the Red Skull was. I'm like, oh no.
Oh man, Marvel's first gay couple.
I mean, maybe that'd be very weird gay couple.
for no reason.
The ghost of the Red Skull and Thanos.
I don't think that was a ghost. I think that was just him.
Well, whatever. He's acting ghost-like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Not Hugo Weaving though.
no, it's
It
not.
wasn't?
It's somebody doing a half decent impression. So it's
yeah, I thought he was like doing
asshole.
I thought he was doing a real kind of gravelly voice to mask who it was until you saw who
Yeah.
was supposed to be there. Anyway.
So anyway, the Red Skull is now was the guardian of the Soul Stone. So it was cool to see him again, and a kind of interesting throwback to one of the first movies. Because we kind of find out what happened to him.
No Hawkeye at all in this movie.
No Hawkeye, and no Ant-Man. No. So they're the only two big ones that weren't in this movie. And so yeah, so like
big ones, Ant-Man.
So I'm a little bit disappointed that that's
why isn't Nick Fury allowed in here? What the fuck?
I'm a little bit disappointed that that's what we not disappointed, but they could have done something more clever. Instead, I feel like the writers were almost handcuffed to the source material and handcuffed to the story that everybody was expecting, so they weren't able to kind of write something a little bit better in terms of something that won't be completely retconned by the end of the next movie and is going to be no shock to anybody. Like, yeah. It was a shock to see all these characters die, but it won't be a shock to see them come back. And I would have preferred the latter over the former. So,
well, I suspect we will see some actual permanent deaths in the next one.
Sorry.
Oh, great.
Sorry.
I suspect we'll see either Tony Stark or Steve Rogers permanently die in the next movie.
Yeah.
Or both.
Or both. I mean, I don't want either of them to die because I like the characters, but if they do, then,
yeah,
you know, that's all you can do. But,
it seems weird that they would do that, though, because they're so... I mean, it's different in comics, I guess. But in the movies, it's like these characters are so attached, and they make so much money from these characters from movies. It's almost like...
Yeah.
You're kind of eliminating revenue by just killing a character somewhat gratuitously.
Yeah. Robert Downey Jr.'s salary is too high. They got to fire him to save some money.
They would kill him off just to not have to pay him.
They'll make more money from not paying Robert Downey Jr. than they would if they made another Iron Man movie.
I mean, yeah, probably. But so that's a reason to kill off Iron Man. But I don't know if they'd kill off
Captain
America.
How the base is exploding. They're like, we gotta evacuate the base. And the guy's like, time to get some reps in. That guy's just sweeping. Like, dude, the base is gonna blow up. Get out of there.
Yeah, that's fine.
You're all Hydra anyway.
Ugh. So yeah.
It lands on his head.
Ultimately, I thought this was a really good movie. Definitely a lot of flaws, but it's definitely worth your time. It definitely doesn't feel 3 hours long.
I think was it 3
How long is it?
I think it was 2.5.
I thought you said it was 3.5 hours.
No, it's not 3.5.
Anyway, it's
Can I talk about a couple things?
Yes. I'm done talking.
The Titan fight. When they're trying to get the gauntlet off Thanos.
Yeah.
Remember earlier in the movie when Doctor Strange cuts off a dude's arm with a portal?
Yeah.
And it's set up earlier in the movie?
Yeah.
Why didn't he do that immediately when Thanos was like...
Because like the Jedi super run fast move, he can only do that.
I was kind of thinking that's how they were going to stop it. Like he would get all the gems, and then the gauntlet would just drop to the ground. You know,
but he said he ran the scenario 14 million times, and it's like,
I never thought.
How does that not work? Can you explain how that doesn't work?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, obviously the movie is set up in a way that him giving away the time stone is the one scenario where they beat Thanos in the end.
Yeah,
but it's like you got to think that him just cutting off the dude's arm, or even better, just severing the dude's neck or head from his body with one of those portals would win the fight instantly.
That's kind of dumb though, because if I mean that's obviously what they're doing is they're setting up the giving away the time stuff, because near the end of the movie, just to explain what's going on, Doctor Strange says, I've looked into the 14 million futures and there's only one in which we succeed, and he never says which one it is, and then at the end of the fight when all the heroes have lost fighting Thanos, he's like, if you spare us, I'll give you the time stone. And straight off to Thanos, who's actually a fairly honorable villain in terms of like how he operates, because he's like, he gives him the stone, and then Thanos is like, okay, and he just leaves. And he's like the Thanos from the comic book would have killed him. He would I'm giving you the stone, and Thanos would have been like, nah, I'm just gonna kill you and take it from you because fuck you.
Who played Thanos? I forget his
Josh
name.
Brolin.
He does a fantastic job.
He does a really good job. Not as good as James Hetfield did, but there's that. Yeah, so That's how Thanos gets the stone, and that's obviously the one situation in which they're going to win. But I feel like that stupid
and right before Doctor Strange dissolves and dies, he's like, "This was the only way." To Tony. So
I mean, that kind of makes a lot of sense. In terms of how the story's written, but I kind of don't like that. Like, this is like, it's kind of like prophesized.
Yeah,
that's a little bit dumb.
It's the movie telling the audience that
they kind of
it's all
had
going
to
to be
do
reversed.
that, though.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
I feel like they had to do that, because if they didn't, then everyone would be like, "Well, Doctor Strange had the time stone. He should know how to fix this."
Yeah.
Anyway,
So-
like I said, when Thanos is like in the fugue state, and he's like, they're moments away from getting the gauntlet off, and Peter Quill, right before Peter Quill hits him, just do the arm move
Yeah.
and instantly get the gauntlet off. There's no...
I agree with you, but I would have been cool to see that scene where like they try that trick, and he's like, Steven's like, okay, and try this, and he tries to like do that same thing, and it doesn't work. It just like the portal gets stopped on his arm because he's
That
so
would have been
powerful.
fine. I would have been fine
feel
with
like
that.
I feel like that
But
would have
show
happened
it in
anyway.
the movie.
They presented a lot of scenarios where we're like, well, why don't they try this, and then they do it. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
well,
but they didn't do this.
I know, but they would have written in a way for it to not work.
Yeah,
And that
Like-
would have been fine. I would have been
Yeah.
fine with it if they showed it not working.
but they deliberately set up a scenario at the beginning of the movie where somebody loses an arm, and then later on in the movie, when they're trying to do exactly that, they don't use that same exact
fair enough.
scenario.
But they don't even try it later in the
Yeah,
movie.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That
That's
struck
I
me
didn't
as
think
dumb.
about that, but that is a very valid criticism. Now that being said, the rest of the Titan fight is awesome.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
It's a great fight. Like, you get to see
When Tony goes all out and
in
he
his
just
new-
kind of scrapes Thanos, and he says all that for a drop of blood.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
But like all the characters really get like because like the Guardians. So four of the members of the Guardians, Star-Lord and Drax and Mantis. And Nebula are in this fight, and then it's Peter, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and Iron Man. So they're all fighting that, which is a weird combination of people, but whatever. And they're all fighting Thanos, and they're doing a really good job of working together. But they're hitting this guy with everything they got, and they're doing a really good job of like hitting him. And he just keeps getting back up from every blow, and it's like, oh shit, that was such a well done fight scene. That's what the Apocalypse fight should have been like at the end of Age of Apocalypse, the X-Men movie, where instead of a big beam struggle, where all the heroes are like, "Ah!" and he's like, "Ugh!" and then he just dies. It should have been like an actual fight. So yeah.
I don't disagree. I don't hate Apocalypse as much as some people. I thought it was cool that they were at least using powers in that scene.
Yeah.
Well, I do agree with you.
But they were much better presented in this and other superhero movies.
Yeah.
I mean, like that
Yeah,
that Titan fight is definitely a highlight of the movie for me.
A lot of
'cause it was so well
choreography
done.
and a lot of thought that goes into the mechanics of the fight scenes.
One thing that I felt was done very well, but yet still felt rushed, was Thanos' relationship to Gamora, because he portrays Gamora. Gamora is Thanos' daughter, and it's portrayed that in this that he still loves Gamora as a daughter, even though like he's completely irreprehensible being. Like he's killed trillions of people, and Gamora is obviously disgusted, but he's like, no, you're still my daughter. I still love you, and I won't let you come to harm, even though I'm really fucking pissed off and I could kill you. And like, there's scenes where he's like, I can kill you instantly, but I'm not going to because I love you. It was well acted by Josh Brolin and
Thanos
Gamora.
says in the movie that he's the only one willing to sacrifice anything to achieve his goals.
Yeah.
And we see throughout the movie that he wins because nobody else is willing to sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like everybody, every time Thanos threatens somebody, they're like, okay, here, you had,
Yeah, there's always
I'll give you what you
a
want.
second guessing on something.
Yeah.
They're not willing to sacrifice. So like the Avengers slogan of that movie is "We don't trade lives."
Yeah.
Whereas Thanos would do that in a heartbeat.
And we should say that Thanos' whole thing is that he wants to bring balance to the universe. So he wants to reduce the population of the universe by half to reduce overpopulation, which makes sense, but we don't ever really see that as like being a major issue. It's more just like this is a thing on Earth, so like it's a thing everywhere. But whatever, ignoring that, it's nice that he's not. I mean, he's obviously evil in terms of his actions, but not in terms of his motivation. Which is interesting when it comes to the difference between him and his comic book counterpart, where Thanos is just evil in the comic books. He's a much more nuanced character in this movie. Very well done, and again, like you said, Josh Brolin should be lauded for his performance. Very, very good performance. Mm-hmm. But some of the stuff with Gamora felt a little bit kind of rushed and a little bit cheesy, like the repeated single tear, and it was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Although that one scene, because there's a scene where he has to sacrifice something in order to get the Soul Stone, and it's Gamora.
That was one of the best scenes in the movie.
It was very chilling.
I think that redeems it, because it's almost like it's a, like, I don't know, if you had a father and son, like, you know, the father might bawl out the son for doing stupid stuff, or, you know, lambaste and punish him for something, but they still love the kid, you know.
Segued into God of War.
Yeah, we're not ready yet, though. No, we're not ready. This is a pre-segue.
Well, I wasn't getting to that, but there can be a tough love scenario, so it's like it's difficult to gauge it as just a bad guy and Gamora.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, and you know, the movie shows that there's, you know, proof that
it's like a father and son, except the son has a vagina.
They definitely, because I mean, Ultron had kind of not similar motivation, but he had less villainous motivations than Loki, because Loki just wanted to rule the Earth. But Ultron's thing was like he just wants to prepare the Earth for the next apocalypse by toughening it up. But it was portrayed way, 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 way better with Thanos and Thanos' motivation in this movie than Ultron was. Now, Ultron is still, I think, a great villain, but Thanos is better. Yeah. So, also, I like the new War Machine and Iron Man armor. They were really well done. Like, I like, because there's just one scene where War Machine's just, like, hovering above the battlefield and just, like, missiles, and he's, like, firing, like, 8 streams of bullets. It's just like,
I don't actually like the new Iron Man outfit.
No?
No.
I like it a lot.
No, I prefer the more bulky stuff.
Yeah,
the more power armor looking.
See, I like it because it separates Tony from War Machine, where War Machine, or Iron Man from War Machine.
Yeah,
where War Machine is supposed to be bulky and armored and guns everywhere. Iron Man is supposed to be more bleeding edge technological. So less.
Fair enough. I mean, I guess we've had enough movies with him like that now. I agree with Andrew, but I feel like the suit in this, the Iron Man suit in this, almost looked a lot like the comic book version, where he was
there's been
kind
so
of
many
like,
different versions of the Iron Man suit,
it almost looked like it was like a shiny plastic in this, you know?
Yeah.
Like he would just have like a latex suit on or something.
It is, the Iron Man suit in this is nanomachines, so it's not like the suit in the other movie where like different plates. It's like the nanomachines form the skeleton, which is a concept I came up with years ago for a kind of knockoff Iron Man.
Well, Tony actually made it. All right.
Well, it was going to be a knockoff Iron Man character anyway.
I liked
high school. I was like, this is so cool, and it was like Iron Man's thing. It's like, it's nothing like Iron Man.
I like the idea of the nanomachines, though, that there's like a finite amount of nanomachines that can be repurposed anywhere on the suit.
Yeah.
So like in the movie, Tony gets like his hand ripped off, and the nanomachines come from somewhere else in the suit and like reform the hand.
And then he's able to make like cool weapons and blades and like guns. And at one point he starts like 3 of them come out from his back, and they form like this big like amplifier beam thing that he shoots people with.
Yeah, that was cool.
Anyway, so I suppose final thoughts on the movies.
Oh no, I'm not finished yet.
Oh, okay, we'll keep going. I keep interrupting. I'm sorry.
Was anyone else disappointed by the lack of music?
I can't remember any of the music.
By which I mean music that wasn't the Avengers theme.
Yeah.
45,000 times throughout the movie.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like the end credits have 2 credited songs. There's one, there's the Wakanda theme, and there's the song during the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, there's
intro,
another Guardians of the Galaxy 80s,
which was
song.
You know, that's cool. But you know what would have been better? Immigrant Song. When Thor comes back and starts kicking ass.
What is Immigrant Song?
That's the Led Zeppelin theme.
Oh, right,
the
yeah.
song.
Right.
From Thor Ragnarok.
I don't know why I forgot that.
And it's freaking amazing. It would have gotten cheers in the movie theater if that played when Thor came back. Yeah. It's mostly the drums and the guitar.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would have been fantastic. Also, Thor's become my favorite
Yeah.
by far. Between Thor Ragnarok and this movie, like, new Thor is so much cooler than what he started out as.
I'm very minor quibble I have is they reversed a lot of the superficial character development of Thor.
And I feel like that was weird.
Because
Like, let's change the character and improve him, and then undo all of it in Infinity War.
Like at the end of Thor Ragnarok, Odin says, "Are you the god of hammers?" No, you don't need a hammer. And this one is like, "I need a new hammer."
I don't like the new hammer. I think it looks dumb.
Well, it's supposed to be. So he gets a new hammer because Mjolnir's broken. Spoiler for Thor Ragnarok. And the new hammer is called Stormbreaker, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's an axe. It's not a hammer.
Well, yeah, but
I think it's one side is a hammer, one side is an axe.
So that comes from a character called Beta Ray Bill, who's an alien, and I forget his race, but he ends up encountering Thor in space. They fight. Thor loses control of Mjolnir, and then Beta Ray Bill picks up Mjolnir and starts beating up Thor with it. And Thor's like, only I'm able to, worthy to wield the power of Thor. But it turns out that Beta Ray Bill is one of the few beings in the galaxy who is also worthy of of Mjolnir. He's a very noble warrior being, and through a long, complicated, storyline where they save Beta Ray Bill's home planet and blah blah blah. Odin's like, in a rare show of niceness, is like, Beta Ray Bill, you're just as honorable and powerful warrior as my son, and though you cannot have Mjolnir as his weapon, I will forge you a weapon that will be Mjolnir's equal. So he gives Beta Ray Bill
There's a non-Norse hammer.
Yeah, because it's like all Mjolnir is a Norse weapon because Thor is a Norse god, and then this one is like, what's the name of my hammer? Is it gonna be like Vafnir or Sol?
Something cool?
Soul Helm? It's like, no, it's Stormbreaker. Thanks. Really, you think that the dwarf played by Peter Dinklage was definitely like, oh shit, gotta think of a name.
My favorite comment that I've read on this movie is someone said, one day I'd like to be as high as the guy that suggested Peter Dinklage play a 25-foot tall dwarf.
Yeah.
He was great. The humor in this movie, a lot of it was spot on. A couple stinkers, but really good humor.
I love the interaction between Rocket and Thor. Not two characters you don't really like.
That scene where they're talking in the
ship.
The ship is fantastic.
Yeah, that was really good.
It's that scene and the Gamora sacrificial scene.
Yeah,
I think those two are the best scenes in the movie.
I also like the scene with where they're Tony and Peter are talking with Star-Lord and them, and he's just like, Drac is like, did you not tell him of how we defeated him? We got that gem with a dance off, and he's like, just like at the end of Footloose, like, Footloose? Or whatever it was Footloose?
Well, he said, oh, is Footloose still the greatest movie back on Earth? And he's like, it never, and Peter, Spider-Man says it never was.
So that was, we got really great character moments like that.
Yeah.
I just want that, just more of that. Just I want Spider-Man teams up with Star-Lord and I don't know, like Black Panther, and they all go on an awesome kick-ass adventure together. I don't know, maybe fight some Nazi zombies and get some Aztec gold. I don't know.
Hey, Red Skull is up there.
Yeah. So, anything else?
What else did I plan on talking about? Music. Thor.
We still got other stuff on the list we got to talk to. We're 50 minutes in.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
All right.
Chris Hemsworth is fantastic. Is a fantastic actor. I don't think he gets enough credit.
Nope.
For what he
does.
does.
Is that Stan Lee?
So Aaron, final thoughts on the movie?
I really enjoyed it. I still need to think on it a little bit. It's still fresh in my mind. I don't know if it's the best Marvel movie, but I think it's probably the best superhero set pieces.
I think Winter Soldier is still above it for me. But
I have more issues with Winter Soldier than this movie.
Oh, really?
But
Winter Soldier and Civil War, I think
I feel like the scope of Winter Soldier is too big to not include other characters. It's like, where's Iron Man in this movie? Like,
there's a great scene from How It Should Have Ended where they're doing Captain America. They're planning this attack, and on the shield Triskelion and the helicarriers, and Nick Fury's like, we can only trust ourselves. It all comes down to us. And then Steve's like, I got the Avengers on speed dial. Do you want me to give them a call? And it's like, no, it can only be us. Seriously. Like, Hulk responded back. He's down for it. Like, he's great at smashing stuff. And he's like, no, it can only be us. I don't know why they call him. And then he calls up the Hulk. And the Hulk, you see the Hulk on a moped driving the war. He's like, oh boy, can't wait to wreck up some helicarriers. And like, sorry, Hulk, we don't need you. And he's like, oh.
I don't know why they had to kill both Samuel L. Jackson and Colby Smulders at the end.
Yeah,
they could have left one of them alive, because it's. I get why Samuel L. Jackson probably wanted to die, or at least not want to be in the next movie.
Probably the same reason Colby Smulders didn't want to be.
I don't know. I think is she doing a lot?
She had a character on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and she's like never on the show.
She was in the Jack Reacher sequel. That's all I've seen her.
Come on now, she should be more regularly on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know what the hell she's doing.
Or just bring her back into the Avengers.
Maybe she's just not acting. Is she Mother? Like, does she?
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe she stays home.
So, one more gripe before I get to Andrew's final thoughts. The final credit scene is teasing Captain Marvel, and they make a big deal, being like, "Oh, we need Captain Marvel's because in New York, Maria Hill and Nick Fury are driving around when everybody starts disappearing. It's like, we need to call in, Code Red or whatever." And he picks up this special communicator and activates it just before he dies. And then he's like,
we've never needed this until now.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, first off, where was Captain Marvel during the Triskelion business, or when Loki invaded, or the Ultron crisis, or during Civil War, or during that business in Wakanda? Like, any of that, like, you didn't need her at all. And also, it's like, I have nothing against Captain Marvel. She's one of my favorite fucking superheroes, especially in Marvel. She's like in the top 3. But she's not that powerful to take on Thanos at his current power. It'd be like, there's only one man who can save us. Wolverine is like, okay, well, I mean, he's good, but like, he can't.
I thought you were gonna say there's only one man that could save us. A woman.
Also, I feel like Loki's gotten away by now in this, because he spent a long time in this garage.
Yeah, Loki's just kind of strolling at this point.
Don't worry about it.
I guess they're not coming.
On gas.
Clean getaway.
So, Andrew, what are your final thoughts on the movie?
Apart from pacing issues, I thought this was a great movie.
Yeah, same. Pacing issues. I'm curious to see how I feel about this movie in a couple of months, because I kind of foresee myself starting to hate this movie. Mm-hmm. But who knows? I'm definitely gonna go see it again, see how I feel. But as of right now, I think this is a very enjoyable film. Definitely has its flaws. Not the best Marvel movie, but
it didn't leave a taste of toilet water in my mouth, like I came out of Star Wars with.
Yeah, but your issues with Star Wars are
what, as someone who sexually identifies as Star Wars, I took major issues with the last Star Wars.
I was going to say
movie.
Well documented. Your issues with that movie are well documented.
That is true.
So
I won't say anything else about it.
I guess we can move on to. Hey, Andrew.
Yeah.
Speaking of.
Hey.
We should just call this podcast Andrew and Adam Talks for an hour and a half.
Yeah. Every week.
We should.
Aaron, would you like to talk about God of War?
Sure. It's the greatest game of all time.
You bet. Well, again, I don't know about that, because there's no Morrowind, but I mean, because you can
it is no Morrowind.
Needs more
you can see
Hollow.
where you're going, and the dialogue is an ass.
Hey now, you've never really played Morrowind.
I've never. Yeah.
Shut your hole.
Your anus, not your mouth.
Yeah. Just keep that tight.
Do that turbo.
Well, we can talk. Did you want to talk about God of War? Or do we want to leave it till next week when we found out both beating it? We can leave it till next week.
Well, I mean,
I'd rather give like a final kind of.
You can do both.
Do we have?
I'd rather not talk about it 3 weeks in a row.
Why not?
Yeah. You know what? I kind of like that idea.
Okay.
We'll finish it, or at least
Yeah, Holland is through 100% that shit.
Yeah.
No, I suspect we'll both have it finished by next week.
Now, speaking of games that I really enjoyed, there is another game that just got announced very recently that I really enjoyed, and I'm surprised it's getting a sequel, though I happy. Wow, that was... I don't know where I was going there. I'm happy
You are happy.
Adam's happy.
You have
Thanks
played...
for watching, everybody. Adam's happy.
What's going on?
You smell burnt toast?
No. I am
just
happy
your
that
face
this...
is drooping.
Is it?
I'm
No.
just happy. Yeah.
I'm happy that this game is getting a sequel.
A sequel.
It's Tomb Raider. There's a new Tomb Raider game coming out called
Good job.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
I mean, I feel like they were always going to make...
Tired. I'm
feel like
so tired.
They were always going to make another one.
3 in the morning last
Did you take
night.
today off?
No.
Did you go in normal time, like 9 o'clock?
I went in. I got in there like 10 o'clock because that's when I normally start.
Oh, 10 to 6?
No, 10 o'clock.
I mean, is your shift 10 to 6?
Oh,
that's
no,
a,
10
that's
to
a
5.
normal shift.
I don't know why you sounded so frustrated.
No, I was frustrated.
Oh my god, this podcast is a mess.
I was frustrated at myself for not being more clear.
It just came across as being like
No, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. is a normal 8-hour shift.
yeah, no, I only work 7-hour shifts. Once I get
Oh.
overtime.
Starting
Do you
work
not
at
take lunch?
5:50.
10 to 6?
Or do you get paid
No,
for
I get 10 o'clock.
Oh, no. When I do that, I usually...
I do get paid for lunch, though.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah. Do you get paid for lunch?
No.
That's awful.
Most places, you don't get paid for lunch.
I get paid for lunch, but I often don't
You
get
just
a
go
lunch.
home for an hour then.
Well, a half hour.
Oh, Jesus.
I often don't get a lunch because if I'm out on the job site, like sometimes I just don't get a lunch. So is what it is. If I'm in the office, because like it's almost like a working lunch because I'll be doing office work anyway, not to go over like what I do during the day, but I'll be like in the office doing filing and like and stuff, and I'll just be eating while I'm doing that. And like there's usually a Netflix video on anyway that I'm watching or like in the background. So yeah. What's with the chicken? Oh, okay, yeah. So there's a new there's a new Tomb Raider game coming out called Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and it looks to be taking place in an Aztec or Mayan themed
Central America.
and that's really exciting because we've seen kind of Japanese style ruins in the first one, and then we saw Tibetan Roman style ruins in the second one, and now in the third one we're getting Aztec, which I really like Aztec kind of settings for adventure games because. I mean, look at the original James Bond, Indiana Jones. Remember James Bond?
Yeah, I was gonna be like, what?
James Bond and the destruction of the Aztecs. So yeah, in the original Indiana Jones, a lot of the death traps in the beginning of that movie are like very Central American themed. I like that a lot. And like. Because like pulp adventure stories since they've existed have always been like lost Amazonian temples and or like like ancient cults living in the very heart of the jungle, that sort of thing. So I like that aspect of it because that fits in very well with the Tomb Raider theme, and you can have some supernatural elements in there as well with blood magic or sacrifices or like shadow monsters or what have you, depending on whatever you wanted to include in the movie or in the game. Sorry,
James Bond and Quetzalcoatl pussy. Pussy Quaddle.
just you're not gonna say that.
Pussy.
You might well-
You can help me.
No, I could, but I don't wanna.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah,
Looks good.
We haven't seen any gameplay from it.
We've seen some screenshots.
Well, I mean that's not gameplay. Though.
Yeah.
We've only gotten the cinematic trailer.
I read a bit about it. Well, first of all, it's being written by the same lead writer as the first two games and Mirror's Edge.
Good.
Cool.
Rihanna.
Which Mirror's Edge?
Pratchett? I think.
No, he wrote Discworld.
No, it's his daughter.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I was I was making a joke there, but I didn't know that. That's cool.
What if we can kill Pepper?
Tony, no. Just like when he was
Domestic
drinking.
abuse.
Just like when he was drinking in the comics. Oh my god.
Oh, Jesus. This is horrible.
That's what happened before Civil War.
That's why they broke up?
Yeah.
Also, apparently, Gwyneth Paltrow is really difficult to work with.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Isn't she like ultra vegan and a health nut or
Yeah,
whatever?
she's pretty homeopathic or whatever.
Yeah. Not vegan in the sense that, oh, she's a vegan, she must be a bad person. In the sense that,
That's her personality.
yes. And
Spiritual
it's like,
healing and whatnot.
she might not even be vegan. I don't know why I said vegan. But you know the type of person.
She's very Hollywood.
Very quinoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good way of putting it.
Very granola.
So, aside from a trailer where
Very
we see Laura
douchey.
taking out a bunch of kind of thugs in the middle of a jungle, and then also, like, there's a blood sacrifice going on in an Aztec temple, we really don't see anything. So it looks to be, same stuff, different day in terms of what this game is attempting to do.
Yeah, which Mirror's Edge?
First one.
Oh.
Not Catalyst.
But I thought this was a really good, a very good trailer. It's got me psyched for the game. Now, keep in mind, I really like the Tomb Raider game, so I was going to be excited for this one anyway.
She wrote Heavenly Sword as well, I believe.
Didn't play that.
Yeah.
Remember when Phil went into the Stark Tower and broke everything and shot Pepper Potts?
I did read a bit about it. They're implementing the jungle more into the gameplay.
Sweet.
In a lot of cool stealthy ways.
Cool.
So you'll be able to like sneak through.
Yeah, in that trailer, she was like up in a tree, so
Yeah.
it'd be cool if there's
There's
some
almost
cool climbing
Predator-ish in
mechanics.
terms of the way she took
Yeah.
out some of the soldiers in that sequence.
I read that there's going to be a lot of underwater elements.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wet boobies.
And it's going to be like a darker story for Lara.
I can't wait for Laura to rip out
Lara.
Billy Duke's head and then like clean the skull off.
It's
Lara.
Billy Duke.
I don't know if you heard it, but it's Lara, not Laura.
Is it Lara?
Lara. Lara.
Not Laura?
No, not Laura.
I always thought it was Lara Croft.
It is Lara.
Yeah, so who's pronouncing it Laura?
You
You
said
were.
Laura.
Oh, was I?
Yeah, you were.
Immediately after Andrew said Lara, you said Laura.
Oh, I don't know.
There's no U
Alright, take that.
in Lara.
Well, sorry. As you can tell from earlier, I'm
Yeah,
having a
you'll
bit of a
never
stroke.
be in Lara.
You should title this podcast "Adam Has a Stroke." And
That's
dies.
that was a very poor joke, Aaron, but I'm glad I heard it.
Oh. I could say there's no U in Lara, and it'd be spelled Y-O-U.
So yeah, looking
Never.
forward to this game.
Because she's fake. She's not real.
Yeah, you could get with Camilla Luddington. She's pretty close.
Yeah, she's not Lara, though.
Or Alicia Vikander. I mean, if she wore a Lara outfit, then she's Lara.
No, she's not.
She has her voice. She looks like her. She
Not
does her
100%.
mocap.
Also, her name's not Lara. So she's
It
not Lara.
doesn't matter.
She could legally change her name to Lara Croft, and then
There's
she'd
got to be
Lara.
a real Lara Croft, right?
But then you'd have to go through the whole process of actually,
What's her name?
convincing Camilla Luddington to have sex with you.
Camilla Luddington.
And, like, that's not going to happen ever.
She does her mocap, and they
You could run the simulation
modeled
14
her-
million times, and there wouldn't even be the one possibility of it happening. So,
Doctor Strange is definitely just lying.
yeah.
Like, I'm kidding. We succeed in most of them. It doesn't matter what we do.
He only thought about it for, like, 6 seconds. And he just moved his head around like, oh, I'm super smart. I thought about it all.
So how many are potential
That's why he
outcomes
didn't
are
even
there?
bother attempting the whole portal thing. Because he didn't even think of it, because he's a dumbass.
So apparently Valve bought the developers of Firewatch.
Hey, Adam. You ever play
Yes.
Firewatch?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yes. Well, it was all right. Wasn't
What-
what I thought it was going to be.
Why did you hate Firewatch?
I didn't hate it, but I thought that
There was a penis in the first 2 minutes, and Adam got his hopes up.
no. I just from the trailers I thought it was going to be more like supernatural themed.
Oh.
And it wasn't. It was more just a standard story. I know it was
Nah,
a good
it's just
story
a
to
guy
make out, but I
walking
was
around
going
in
in
the woods.
expecting kind of like a mystery and like monsters and that sort of thing. And we didn't get that.
There was a
so-
mystery, just nothing happened.
Oh yeah, so it was. I mean, it's fine.
I mean, you can kind of like emotionally cheat on your mentally disabled wife.
Yeah.
That makes you kind of a monster.
Anyway, so
Not that you can, I'm pretty sure you have to in order to finish the game.
I think you can pretty much
Can you?
shrug off all of her
I
advances
guess.
and all that.
whatever.
So
He had his knob out, all those things.
Oh yeah.
so
She had her knob out, everybody's knobs out.
What game are they making next?
It's called In the Valley of Gods.
What's that about?
It looks to be some sort of a spelunking tomb. Not in the vein of Tomb Raider, but it's like there's I don't know if it's pyramids or something to that effect. Mm-hmm. And there's a couple of characters that are kind of exploring them. So probably Adam will be like, "Oh man, there could be supernatural elements," and it'll just be two people walking around
cheating on their wives.
cheating on their wives, walking around.
Well,
these
you don't
caves.
actually cheat on your wife in the game. You can try to.
Stanley.
You can say like, "Hey, I don't love my wife anymore. Let's bang," and she'll be like, "You're kind of no. Let's not do that."
I mean, if you're talking to a woman via radio and your knob's out, that's cheating.
Yeah.
I mean, please.
Hey Adam.
One day we'll have a big boy podcast.
Hey Adam. You want to talk about Marvel movies for another little while?
Christ. Why? Oh, right, Venom. So there was a Venom trailer dropped this weekend. So all we got before for Venom, the Tom Hardy Venom, was a teaser trailer. But now we actually have a full length trailer. We get to see the suit and everything. Mm-hmm. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, pretty much my thoughts too.
Venom looks great. I'm not 100% sure, like Andrew said. Actually, I'll just let Andrew say it. What's your big gripe about this?
I'm not sure how they'll make Venom make sense as a character without doing the whole Spider-Man dark suit storyline.
Yep.
Spider-Man's dead.
That's true, but maybe not
Is
in
he?
this.
Oh, right.
Because doesn't this movie
Is he?
doesn't this movie take place in like
Were you there, Adam? I'm totally tuned out.
Good job, Adam. Isn't Venom non-MCU?
I'm pretty sure, yes. I mean, I was gonna say.
How's that stroke going? Good.
Is it? I was gonna say, like, prior to this, you might be able to kind of cheekily include it in the MCU and not make a difference. But if it comes out before the next Infinity War, which I'm pretty sure it does, right? Then it'll either have to take place before or after, because it won't make any sense.
It was so fucking stupid. It hasn't been 24 hours since I saw the movie when Spider-Man died. It's like, well, Spider-Man said, "Is he?"
My man Stanley's running. Look at him go.
Can you kill Stanley?
Probably, yeah. He'll probably shoot off now in a second.
So yeah, like I'm not really 100% sure that Eddie Brock Venom can work as a character outside of a villain for Spider-Man. I'm sure it's possible, but whenever it's been tried in the comic books, he just comes across as a way more deranged, bloodthirsty Punisher and not nearly as interesting. Where he's just like an anti-hero and he's killing villains and he's like a monster, but not really. And like the story's been done better in the past and blah, blah, blah. So
wait, so who owns the rights to Venom?
that's a good question.
Sony.
Stanley.
Sony, right?
Sony.
Why did Sony do nothing with Venom all this time? Like
It's Sony.
Because they were trying to get the movie back from North Korea when they stole it. They had a full movie with what's his name from Topher Grace, was it? Did they play Venom in the third one? Mm-hmm. And they had the full movie made, and the North Korea was like, "That's ours now." They're like, "No."
Yeah, and now that North Korea signed a peace treaty with South Korea,
we're getting Venom back.
we're finally getting Venom.
So we came out of the movie and we were looking at our phones like, "Oh, the peace in Korea." That all happened over the course of like 2 hours. Good job.
Yeah. It's a shame that when they find out that Kim Jong-un was killed and then replaced, that it'll all be nullified.
But I mean, we saw him though.
Yeah, that was an actor. That was CGI.
The turbo identical looking buddy.
Yeah.
He's definitely some friggin' LMD or something. It's just the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, man.
Or a scroll.
This is like the Tupac hologram, but Kim Jong-un.
He's a hologram.
Ill, whatever. It's Un. Hey, what's next? I don't know. Deadpool?
So yeah, the last trailer we got is we also got the final trailer for Deadpool.
Venom looks okay.
It looks alright, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
I didn't say anything about it.
hopefully my fears are not.
I mean, that being said,
They
we
don't
also
come
got
to
we also
fruition.
got a new trailer for Jurassic World, and it's better than the other ones.
But I
it's
mean,
still
that
not-
was just a movie.
Yeah, it spoils everything for the movie, so don't watch the trailer if you don't want everything spoiled.
But you're gonna see the trailer anyway if you watch a movie in theaters until the movie comes out.
Yeah. I don't like it because they're doing dinosaurs are boring. We need to make dinosaurs interesting.
They're doing the same story as the last movie.
Yeah. It's the last movie, but with Lost World now. Because they're taking the dinosaurs off the island.
There was a thread in there, though, that I like. That it goes beyond Jurassic Park. Like...
Yeah, it's Jurassic World now.
No, well, you know what I mean? Like, it goes beyond an attraction. It's now gotten... a cool storyline would be it getting to the point where it's, like, literally a threat to human survival.
That I like.
All these dinosaurs. Like, this is... some sort of dinosaur apocalypse or something now. And
but wasn't that a theme since the original movie? Wasn't that
it wasn't really presented as such. Like, this
it was
movie,
part of Ian Malcolm's fears. It was like central to his character.
Yeah. It's always a fear.
Yeah,
it's a fear in the movies, but it's not like actually. Okay, dinosaurs are all over the place, and we're kind of fucked. Like, there was a thread of that in this movie. I feel like, but. They probably won't do anything with it.
Yeah, I agree with Aaron. I like that business of it, but this just seems... I don't have any problem with taking Jurassic Park and turning it into an adventure movie, like an adventure action movie. Those that's perfectly fine, but I think they're trying to make dinosaurs into something they're not. The reason that Jurassic Park was such a great movie is because they're just animals. The dinosaurs aren't evil. They're not villainous. The Rex isn't evil, it's just hungry. The Raptors aren't evil, they're just hungry.
Now the Raptors are the good guys.
Now it's like, well, the Indominus is definitely evil. But even the Indominus Rex made sense because it's well documented that when you have hyper-intelligent animals like killer whales or chimpanzees or gorillas kept in isolated captivity for years and years and years...
They can camouflage?
No, they can't camouflage.
Chameleon gorillas?
No, their behavior becomes... like just abnormal in terms of how the other animals of the species portray. They become very antisocial. They almost become, for lack of a better term, psychotic. I mean, just look at the documentary Blackfish, in which they talk about killer whales held in captivity. They are not well-adjusted killer whales at all. These are very damaged mentally animals. So it makes sense that the Indominus Rex, raised in this environment, a hyper-intelligent, hyper-aggressive carnivore kept in a small enclosure, isolated from anything else, would act this way, would act completely unlike an animal. That makes sense. But now they're just like, oh, we're making dinosaurs into super weapons. I'm like, missiles exist. They can do the job just as well as dinosaurs, and missiles don't eat people. Like... If dinosaurs are just animals, and this is coming from a guy who loves dinosaurs, but they are literally just animals.
Do you sexually identify as dinosaur?
No, I don't.
Oh.
People who
Yet.
It'd be like saying, you know what? We've developed the ultimate super weapon, wolves. We've trained wolves to attack people. It's like, I mean, it's impressive, yeah. I mean, wolves are scary, but we've trained grizzly bears as soldiers. And I'm like, I mean, that's impressive, yeah, and I'm sure there's some kind of application for them, but like. You know, jets and helicopters and tanks exist. So.
Well, what about a polar bear with an AK-47 on his back?
Just dangling around. So the new Jurassic World trailer, I'll wait to see. I mean, I'm still going to go to the movie anyway, enjoy it because there's more dinosaurs and...
Bryce Dallas Howard's in it.
What?
Bryce Dallas Howard's in it.
Yep.
And Chris Pratt, if you're into Chris Pratt. And Blue.
By the way, there was a really excellent kind of throwback to Chris Pratt in the Avengers movies. I won't spoil it because there's a really funny joke, but when he's interacting with Thor, that was a really funny part. But the Deadpool trailer,
it was because they're both really good comedic actors.
Yeah,
and that's why that scene works so well. And
the Grimace joke was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Batista was so good as well.
I never heard you laugh so hard in a movie before because Star-Lord comes up to Thanos like, "Hey, Grimace!" Aaron lost his shit during the movie.
It was great. He's like, "You're a retarded McNugget." Get over here.
The best joke for me was the Thor and Peter and I forget Peter Dinklage's character.
I forget.
And it's like
Tyrion.
Yeah, Tyrion. Tyrion is like
Big Tyrion.
Yeah, Big Tyrion. He's like, if you're about to take the full brunt of the sun, it'll kill you. No, yeah, it'll kill you. And Thor's like, only if I die. Like, yeah, that's what kill you means. That was really funny.
Yeah. My favorite joke
And
is still the footloose one. That's pretty good.
And Batista standing in the back.
Yeah.
At Drax.
How long have you been there? An hour.
I've mastered the art of standing so
Yeah.
still that I'm invisible.
Yeah. They're really
great.
good.
Yeah.
Guardians 3 is going to be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they all come back to life.
But the new Deadpool trailer, the final Deadpool trailer came out. It looks pretty good. They introduce a new character who looks like he's going to be fucking funny as hell. Have you seen it?
I don't know if I've seen it.
Okay, we'll watch it afterwards. But I just want to say there's a new character introduced, and he looks fucking hilarious. I've never seen this character before, but I'm really excited to see him in the movie because he just looks funny, and they're going to be able to do an awful lot with this character. So I'm really.
I wonder
hoping
how
that he's
many.
good.
I wonder how many in jokes there will be, due to the fact that Disney now owns Deadpool.
And that Josh Brolin is also in Deadpool.
Oh yeah.
Oh, is he playing Cable?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I wonder how
You're like,
far
weren't
they'll
you a
go.
purple
Like,
guy? And he'd be like, what?
Yeah.
I wonder
I hope so. Man.
if this, like, I gotta assume the screenplay was written before the Disney
maybe.
acquisition, but I wonder how many things were added in afterwards.
Yeah. Might have been some
And, like,
rewrites.
Yeah,
Well,
rewrites and reshoots.
Here's
and
the
all that.
plot, and spoiler alerts. The plot is, and I haven't read like any advanced things. This is just my guess. Cable's from the future, and he's trying to kill a young child. And Deadpool is like, "Well, he's a bad guy. I'm going to save this young child." And it turns out that the young child is a young Apocalypse. That's the plot. I guess that kind of wraps it up for this movie, or for this
Yep.
podcast.
Thanks for joining us for this
we
movie.
we got to end because I don't know what's going on.
Man, 159 movies. What are we? Like,
Take that, MCU.
how many times Avengers are we?
A
Or
lot.
MCU.
Well, I mean,
I don't know, like
if you're just
6?
including
What's
podcasts,
159 divided by 17? Quick maths. Come on.
I mean, it's like it's close to 10.
Come on, quick maths.
Close to 10 quick maths.
Yeah.
It's close to
How
10
many 16s
times.
and 159?
I don't care.
93.
We end. This
I don't know.
is starting to become torture.
Yeah.
Hey, if you know the answer, put it in the comment section below.
Make sure you smash that like button.
Join us. Remember to join us next week as well, because we may be back with some hot podcast action
We're gonna talk about God of War.
Yeah.
with God of War in the big finale episode.